What's up everybody, Haskins here. Today's video, I'm gonna give you 3 advanced building tips here in LEGO Fortnite Odyssey. It's gonna help you take your builds to the next level. Using these techniques I'm gonna show you today are gonna unlock so many more possibilities. You're gonna learn how to flip pieces on their side, upside down, and add a ton of different angles that you can't do with the normal game mechanics. And if you learn something new here today and find value, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for much more awesome LEGO Fortnite content. So this first technique is going to allow us to flip pieces both on its side and upside down. And we're gonna do that through the use of a pressure plate. Now this can be located in your toys menu here under controls. And let's go ahead and demonstrate. So we're gonna place this down here on this post, and then we'll grab, just say any piece really, it doesn't matter. Let's grab one of the trophies from the expert mode here. So let's go ahead and grab this one here from Lost Isles. Now what you'll see here is if we aim at our pressure plate, we're gonna go ahead and get this on a horizontal build plane. Now once we kind of nudge this up out of the way of that pressure plate, we can go ahead and place this down just like that on its side. Now you can experiment with all sorts of different pieces and the possibilities are pretty much limitless. We can apply the same thing to ceilings as well. This is gonna allow us to flip things upside down. It doesn't need to be limited to ceilings, but traditionally one of the ways I really like to use this is by creating cool designs for our ceilings on the interior of our buildings. And you can aim at the black portion of your pressure plate there and then just kind of nudge it out of the way. And just like that, you can start to create some really cool designs. Let's go ahead and take a look at one that I did on one of my buildings. Here's a look at some of the crazy stuff you can do with these techniques. You can see in this one, I'm using a combination of a bunch of different layers and textures of things on the walls, including the ceilings. So you can really do a lot with this technique. What I was just showing you there a moment ago is just kind of the basics. Here's a look at some of the wild stuff you can achieve with this next technique. This is gonna allow us to build at some really strange angles and get some cool designs and shapes out of various pieces using this. And I gotta shout out my guy, the Long Tom Lounge, for showing me this one. So I'm gonna link his channel in the description. Go show him some love. So the technique that we're using next is gonna be using a piece out of the Shogun Palace set. Now that piece is gonna be in our walls section and it is called Ancient Slanted Wall. This can be unlocked by upgrading your Frostlands village. Now this technique is gonna get us a ton of awesome unique angles that we can't get with the traditional building grid. So in order to do this, we're gonna place down that slanted wall there and we're gonna grab the small thruster. We're basically combining some of the techniques we used in the previous part of this video. And what you can see here is you can actually set this on various angles within this piece. Now some of it is a little bit touchy. You can get a lot more angles than the ones I'm gonna be showing you here, but you just kind of gotta mess around with it. But you get the point here. You can see all of these different angles that we can set up on this wall to use as building anchor points to give us very unique structures that we could put together using different pieces. So let's go ahead and get right into that. So let's demonstrate how this works. Now you can see when you're normally working with a wall, it's gonna just be upright, vertical, so top to bottom. Now with this particular technique, we can actually get these very unique angles out of it. So we can go ahead and use that angle there and you can then stack walls and now you have I don't even know exactly what this angle is, but you can then use this one here, same thing. Now you'll notice if your thrusters are on like on an angle when you put them on, it's only gonna allow you to build at that angle that you put it on. So let's go ahead and break this one down for a moment. Be careful of that. You wanna make sure that these are straight. So that way when you're putting your walls on, you're not getting that angle. Check this one, for example. This one is actually straight. We can get some really crazy angles out of it. So let's bring this towards us a little bit. So we've got this angle. And you can even use this angle way up here. Now that I've showed you how this one works, let me go ahead and show you another way of using this. We're gonna actually have this piece flipped onto the ground. So let's just go ahead and we're gonna use a pressure plate and we're just gonna stack this into the ground like that. And now we're gonna grab one of these. So it's again, combining the techniques we did before with this technique, but you can see here, we can go ahead and get this into the ground now by aiming at our pressure plate. And then from here, we can do the same thing. We can get all of those different angles out of this piece here, but now things are gonna be laying on the ground. So let's go ahead and just demonstrate using these 2 different angles here, like this. I think it's pretty self-explanatory at this point, but let's go ahead and grab this. And just like that, we've got this whole other angle and all the different angles we can use from this particular piece now going into the ground. and on a completely different build plane here. So we've got them going this way. Now we can do this on the ground as well. Now this third technique I like to call flip stacking. And the way we're gonna do this is, let's just go ahead and grab some cool design pieces from Majestic Manors. Now I'm gonna go over on into my wall section here, and we're gonna go down to these half walls. I think it's called like the Corbel wall or something like that right here. Corbel, or Castle Corbel 1. So we're gonna place one of these down just like that. Now, traditionally, when you add these pieces on top of each other in a stack, this is what you end up with. But I'm gonna show you a really cool way of doing this, a little bit different, and it's gonna come out looking a lot better. So let's go ahead and leave this part here for reference, and I'm gonna show you this new design using the build techniques right next to it. So we're gonna start by placing down our wall, and this technique is going to require us to basically, we're gonna wanna have something tall enough to where it will accommodate the height of the next wall that you're gonna flip on top of this piece. So in this case, since this is a half wall, we're just gonna use a full length corner post here. And then from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a thin floor piece, and we're just gonna snap this right up onto the top there, and we're gonna let it hang off the edge. And the reason we're letting that hang off the edge is so that we can use our pressure plate, and we're gonna place this right down underneath that part. Now this is using a technique that we've used earlier for our ceilings. And then from here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna grab that same Castle Corbel 1 wall. We're gonna aim that right at that black part of the pressure plate. And now this is gonna flip this thing upside down, and then we can rotate it and actually have this sit right on top of that wall that we just put down, just like that. So one of the things to consider too is when you stack another wall on top of here, because that one is upside down, whatever it is that you put up there is also going to be upside down. So if we want this to be right side up, what I recommend doing is just leveraging that post that we put on the side to use to help flip our piece, and then we can just build off of that and nudge this into place. I'm actually gonna show you a pretty cool design that you can stack on top of here. So let's go ahead and place one right there. And then from here, when we snap into any of the pieces that are up in the normal build direction, it's gonna stay that way. Now, what we're gonna do next though, is we're gonna actually stack these flipped upside down onto the pieces that we just placed down. However, if you notice, we go back up here, they're gonna be in the regular build direction. So the way we're gonna overcome this is just like we did before. This time we're actually gonna stack 2 of these on top of each other. We're gonna put one more here, because remember, whatever the height of the wall is that you're gonna be flipping and stacking, you need the equal height of the posts on the right or left-hand side of what we're gonna be using to flip this. So we're gonna go back to our thin floors here. We're gonna place that down, and then we're gonna use, go ahead and guess. Yes, that's right. We're using the pressure plate. We're gonna place this here. Now, you wanna make sure that it's in the right direction here. Sometimes if you get off, it'll be diagonal like this. You have to kind of angle back out and then go to place this back down. Otherwise, your pieces won't line up. And then from here, we're gonna take the same thing with the lordly wall. We're just gonna aim here at the black corner of the pressure plate. And then we're gonna go ahead and rotate and then put this into position. Now from here, we can snap one more in. Again, whatever you're snapping into, it's gonna be in that build direction. So since this one's flipped, this one's also gonna be flipped. And just like that, you have a pretty cool wall design with a nice like little diamond shape open window there. So feel free to just apply this to all different designs and pieces and stuff like that. I really enjoy this technique. Use all 3 of these techniques to really improve your build game in LEGO Fortnite Odyssey. Thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Haskins is signing off. I will catch you all in the next one.